I want to come to you, Dave, first. Can you tell us your story and how you see what has happened in the last few days? You're on mute, Dave. You're on mute.
It is sad what has happened between Canada and India in the last few days, especially since Monday. And I think, first of all, I want to say, look, my condolences go to the Pradeep Nijjar's family. I don't know if he has done things in India or not, but I'm saying in Canada he didn't do. But what the Prime Minister did by making an announcement in Parliament building in Chambers without bringing any proof, what he should have done was probably brought some of the a senior police official explained to what information they had, made a statement that time rather than just going accusing India. I don't know what evidence is there or not. If India was involved, it is wrong, but we haven't seen any information. But on the other hand, at the Guru Nanak Sikh Temple in Surrey, where Nijjar was shot, they have a picture of Talvinder Singh Parmar, and on Monday they also had a picture of Talvinder Singh Parmar and Nijjar together. And Talvinder Singh Parmar was the mastermind, which was accepted by everybody for Air India bombing that killed 331 people, including 280 were Canadian citizens, over 86 were kids. And it is wrong to show pictures of terrorists as heroes any place, especially in the public. But sadly enough, our Canadian laws are not strong enough when it comes to the police to stop those type of pictures being shown as the heroes in the public, and probably trying to convert some of the people to saying it's okay to support some of these terrorists. I mean, and that is a sad part. And I think what's happening with the visa being restricted, that is wrong. And so what I also heard on some of the media is some of the people threatening the Hindu community, saying they should leave Canada, which is wrong. I mean, Canada is made of people from all different religions, all different cultures, all different backgrounds from all over the world. If everybody brought their problems to here, this would be probably one of the worst countries rather than one of the best country. Right now, with all its challenges, it's still considered one of the best country. But still, we have our share of problems, and Khalistan is the issue. But in Canada, under charter right, you can ask for Khalistan. There's nothing to stop it. But on the other hand, you cannot use hate and violence for your messaging.
Because as you said, you made an important point. You've got gurdwaras where you have pictures of people who are accused of terrorists, their posters being put up, which you're saying is unacceptable. Samir Kaushal, you're joining us. The fear is, from what Dave also said, that there has been a normalization of many of these people who are using Canadian soil allegedly for terror activities, for hate speech. How do you see it?
Thank you so much, Rajdeep, first of all, for taking me. I think it's a very concerning matter. And yes, it is normalizing day by day. But if you look at the hypocrisy of the authorities over here, the same referendum, though I'm not against or in favor of the referendum, this same referendum, which happened a few days back in one of the Gurudwara, the prominent Gurudwara, where Mr. Hardeep Singh Nijjar was president, the same referendum was cancelled in a school, and that has been cancelled by the school district. They said that they were showing pictures of a weapon in the school, and that was going beyond their policies. So the city authority, the provincial authority, the federal authority, they let that same pictures go circulate, published in whole of the city, not just in the city, over the internet as well. I'm not understanding the incident of this murder, the unfortunate murder, happened in Canada, in the city of Surrey. The investigation agency is the police of jurisdiction, city of Surrey RCMP. And what kind of evidence Mr. Justin Trudeau is asking from India? Yes, I am very much sure, because he's the Honorable Prime Minister of Canada, and he's representing Canada on the international platform. But the way he categorically say that there are certain credible allegations. Now he's saying credible, reasoning for that. But I'm surprised with only one fact. If he's having any kind of credible allegations, credible evidence, credible notion, whatever he's having with him from his intelligence services, why Mr. Justin Trudeau is waiting? Why don't they put the person who murdered Mr. Niger behind the bars. We have our judicial system very strong. We have our intelligence, strongest intelligence system over here. Why are we waiting? If we
Let
can
me
raise
stop
this
you. Samir, let me stop you because that is precisely what is the question being asked in India. You have credible evidence, put it out in the public domain. But what you are doing at the moment, you are shooting and scooting in a manner that is ill-befitting, many would say, a leader of a sovereign democratic nation. And therefore, Vivek Karju, how should India respond? I mean, that becomes the big question. How he is the leader of Canada. He will be Prime Minister, arguably at least till the next election. Canada is a country with a large Indian population, some of whom retain their Indian citizenship. How should India respond according to you?
I think India should point out the contradictions in what Mr. Trudeau is saying and what Canada does. Mr. Trudeau is eloquent in saying that Canada would like to pursue and wants the international rules-based order to be pursued. If that is the case, then why is it that for over 4 decades, Canada has allowed terrorist activities to be carried out from its soil, and all evidence given to them has been brushed aside? That is one. Two, there is major lacuna in Canadian laws, and Canada has done nothing to address them. And third, and I say this, Rajdeep, with a sense of regret, but with a sense of responsibility, Canada's justice system has a racist attitude towards justice systems of other countries. They think that our justice system is simply not good enough, so that when we send them letters rogatory, when our judges and our prosecutors and our police investigation agencies send them material, they look upon it with the deepest suspicion. That is racist. That is not a rules-based order. But that is why...
Those are very strong words. The question, therefore, is what do we do now? Do we call out Canada publicly, given the fact that Canada is part of an alliance that includes the United States, and therefore the US today is saying we will not give special exemption to India on the allegation? What should we be doing? Should we call out Canada day after day publicly?
I think this is the time for mature diplomacy. One, we should call out Canada for the reasons that I've told you. Two, we must explain our position and all that we've done with Canada with the major powers. And three, we should use language which is mature, which is in keeping with our old diplomatic traditions. We don't have to go ballistic with our language. Our arguments must speak for themselves.
You know, you're saying that to me, that our arguments must speak for themselves, but it's a fine line, isn't it? Because the Canadians, you know, if they do have credible evidence, not in the public domain at the moment, but if they were to tomorrow provide it, it could be hugely embarrassing. Should all of this be settled behind closed doors, Mr. Karju?
Look, ultimately, matters have to be resolved by wise men behind in quiet conversations. But unfortunately, the public statements of the Prime Minister of Canada in his house, the rallying, unfortunately, that day, the Canadian political class rallied around him. Later on, they are asking him for evidence, but that day, all of them stood together with him, has raised hackles here, and I don't see that coming down. I think temperatures will unfortunately rise. It will trouble a lot of people, but this is something which Canada has precipitated. Quite frankly, they have precipitated it, and they must address it.